Let's talk some policy, and this may take us in different directions. Ms. Williamson, let me start with you. What is the issue where you differ most from President Biden?
President Biden is trying to alleviate the stress of millions and millions of Americans who are living at the effect of an unjust economy. I want to end the injustice. He will do whatever he can to make life a little better for people, but only until the point where to go any further would challenge the profit maximization goals of the donor and billionaire class. We need fundamental economic reform. We need universal health care. We need tuition-free college and tech school. We need guaranteed living wage. We need guaranteed sick pay. We need paid family leave. We need a fundamental economic U-turn in this country. And the president is taking this incremental approach to making things better for people whose lives are suffering. 39% of Americans now say they regularly skip meals in order to pay their rent. The majority of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. The majority of Americans cannot afford a $500 unexpected expenditure, and the president is saying the economy is doing well.
Well, I'm going to get back to another question on the economy. Congressman Phillips, same question to you. What is the issue where you differ most from President Biden?
Well, let's give credit to where it's due. President Biden saved our country, and he's made investments in America. That's what the CHIPS Act was, the infrastructure bill. I salute that. I voted for it. I helped market it. But what he has not done is invest in Americans, what Marianne just said. Housing, health care, education, food and fuel so expensive. We have a crisis of costs and chaos. The other area I differ with him immensely is our southern border. I've been there twice, Dan. It is an unmitigated, embarrassing, unforgivable disaster. And Democrats, as Cenk said earlier, have to wake up to the truth. The more we ignore it, the more we pave a path for Donald Trump to return to the White House. Because you know what? He's actually listening. And I think it's time that Democrats do. And I'm afraid that President Biden is at a stage where he has lost the ability to legitimately listen. In fact, where is he? I know he probably couldn't be here today, but to tell the country that he will not debate a single time in a Democratic primary of such consequence, that's perhaps the biggest point of differentiation between him,
right,
Cenk, Marianne, and me, is showing up.
Mr. Uygur, same question to you. Where is the area where you differ most from President Biden?
So at this point, it's Israel and Gaza, but I'm sure we're going to come back to that.
No, please feel free to.
So, yeah, I mean,
if that's the issue.
Yeah, he's been monstrous on that. So he's green-lighted the massacres and the war crimes that Israel's committed. He's sending our taxpayer dollars to go kill innocent Palestinians, 23,000 dead already. Enough, enough. How much are they going to kill? With our money. I don't want my money to go kill Palestinian children. So that's point one. Point two, on the policies on the domestic level, it sounds like we have a lot of agreement, but you have to remember that Joe Biden didn't actually do a lot of these things. So the infrastructure, no problem, great. Credit where credit is due. I agree with Dean, right? So we're not saying it's a black and white thing. But in terms of the policies that he promised, $15 minimum wage, he said it was a bare minimum. He threw it under the bus immediately. Paid family leave, polls at 84%, and he won't fight for it. If you can't get something passed that's at 84%, you're not a very good politician. Public option, he didn't even propose it. Why did you? So honestly, I think that he was lying.
Congressman Phillips, do you agree with Mr. Uygur about Israel? He says that the president's policy has been a disaster.
I think, Dan, two things can be true at once. I have great affection for Israel. It is the only majority Jewish nation in the entire world. When the first boats left Europe at the dawn of the Holocaust and came to this country, we turned them away. I'm a Jewish man. I intend to be the first Jewish president in American history who signs documents recognizing a Palestinian state. I care deeply about my Palestinian brothers and sisters like I do my Israeli brothers and sisters. I think two things can be true at once. Democrats can support Israel, and Democrats can support Palestinians. And I think we should transcend all of this by favoring humanity. And that's who I am. I will fiercely defend Israel, and I will fiercely defend the recognition of a Palestinian state and self-determination.
But Ms. Williamson, Mr. Uygur has made very strong comments that are not sort of nuanced the way that Congressman Phillips is saying. Is your position that Mr. Uygur is right, that the president's policies have been a disaster? Or do you generally support what President Biden has been doing with regard to Israel?
I'm with Dean Phillips on this. Our highest allegiance must be to humanity itself. As I appreciated the president's moral clarity on October 7th, but we've needed a lot more moral clarity about what has been shown to the Palestinians since then. I do not agree with this war. I don't think it's good for Israel. I don't think it's good for the Palestinians. As evil as the events of October 7th were, I do not believe that this war is justified. We need an immediate ceasefire. I said that even before they started. This was not the thing to do.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.